Speaking Task 1. You will be asked a question about a familiar topic. You will then have 15 seconds to prepare your response, and 45 seconds to speak.
Students should opt for streams like science or commerce rather than arts is a common notion. Do you agree or disagree with it? Support your answer with some examples.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
I disagree with this common notion because every stream, be it science, commerce, or arts, has its value and can lead to numerous career options. It entirely depends on a student's interest and aptitude. If a student has a creative bend and strong visual, spatial, and interpretive skills, forcing them to study science or commerce might be a disservice to their natural talents. We have countless examples of successful personalities from all walks of life who have pursued their passion, regardless of their stream. From renowned painter Picasso to celebrated actor Meryl Streep, all come from diverse fields, not necessarily science or commerce. I firmly believe that success and fulfillment come from pursuing a subject one genuinely cares about rather than following a typical societal norm.
Speaking Task 2. You will read a short paragraph and then listen to a conversation between two people. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the conversation between two people.
Now listen to two students discussing the letter.
Did you see this letter of Justin's in the paper today? I like his idea.
Yeah, I did see that.
I think it's good. It would be a real convenience because right now the closest place to get something to eat is at the student center, which is all the way across campus.
You know, you're right about that.
There just isn't enough time to leave the math building, make the long walk to the student center, and get back in time for your next class.
I know what you mean.
So it would be a great place to just have something to eat, spend time with friends, and slow down a little in between classes.
And what about his suggestion about the computers?
Oh, I really like it because most students bring their laptops to classes, especially math classes, and they need to recharge their laptops when they're not in class.
Yeah, and there are absolutely no places to do that in the math building because it's so old.
Right. So, like, if you have a couple of math classes in a row and some time in between them, it would be a good place to sit down and recharge your laptop and maybe get some work done at the same time.
The letter writer points out a problem with the math building and suggests an improvement. Briefly describe the improvement and explain the reasons why the woman agrees or disagrees with the letter writer's suggestion.
The letter writer points out a problem with the math building and suggests an improvement. Briefly describe the improvement and explain the reasons why the woman agrees or disagrees with the letter writer's suggestion.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The letter suggests turning an empty room in the math building into a small cafeteria with electrical outlets. The woman agrees with this idea. First, she thinks it would be very convenient, since the only place to get food now is the student center, which is far from the math building. There's usually not enough time between classes to walk there and back. Second, she supports the idea of adding electrical outlets because many students use laptops in math classes, but the building is old and has nowhere to charge them. The cafeteria would give students a place to eat, recharge, and relax between classes.
Speaking Task 3. You will read a short paragraph about an academic topic, then listen to a lecture about it. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the lecture.
Since time immemorial, animals have been more than mere subjects in artworks. They are emblems of our evolving civilization, reflective of how we perceive, relate to, and understand the world around us. In the depths of the Lacan caves in France, prehistoric humans painted breathtaking images of wild animals like the aurochs and horses. These weren't just rudimentary sketches, but detailed depictions illustrating a deep reverence and connection our ancestors felt with these creatures. They possibly used these paintings as ritualistic symbols, educational tools, or even as records of their hunts. Fast forward to the Italian Renaissance, and we encounter the famed Lady with an Ermine by Leonardo da Vinci. The ermine, a symbol of purity and honor in that era, is not merely an accessory in the painting, but an embodiment of the subject's character. Its inclusion speaks volumes about the status and virtues of the woman portrayed, Cecilia Gallerini, linking her to nobility and purity.
How do historical art depictions of animals reflect the values and beliefs of different societies?
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Historical art depictions of animals serve as a window into the values and beliefs of different societies. In the caves that were mentioned, the intricate paintings of horses reveal a deep reverence for and connection to the natural world, possibly for ritualistic or educational purposes. Fast forward to the Italian Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci's Lady with an Ermine uses the animal as a symbol of purity and honor, reflecting societal associations of nobility and virtue, of course. These examples, they highlight how animals in art are not just subjects, but carriers of meaning, showcasing the intertwining of human culture and the animal kingdom, of course.
You will listen to a lecture about an academic topic. After, you will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture.
The voyage of the Beagle is one of the most important voyages in the history of mankind. It started in 1831. Darwin set sail on a scientific expedition on a ship called the Beagle. He was the naturalist on the voyage. It was his job to collect rock, plant, and animal specimens every time the ship docked. The Beagle circumnavigated the world. It visited South America, the Pacific Islands, Australia, and Africa. The voyage lasted 5 years, and by the end of it, Darwin was a celebrated naturalist. The evolution theory that he developed as a result of this voyage changed drastically the way we look at our world. Darwin came back with 2 major understandings. The first one was that the organisms on Earth changed over a long period of time, and the second was that those organisms changed due to natural selection. When it comes to change over time, he dug up fossils of extinct animals such as the large sloth. This and other discoveries suggest that living creatures look more differently in the past. That right now we are merely observing our biosphere at a certain limited point in time. The most famous part of his voyage was when he arrived on the Galapagos Islands. These islands had different environments, and he discovered that the same animals adapted differently to those different circumstances. One prominent example of this were the tortoises. They developed shells which were particular to the islands they came from. Even the locals were able to know on which island they were by looking at the shape of the tortoise's shells. By observing these changes, Darwin was able to conclude that different environments shape us in different ways. In other words, the nature chooses who survives and whose offsprings continue on.
Explain the 2 main understandings that Darwin came back with from his voyage. Use the points and examples from the lecture.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Darwin came back with 2 major understandings. The first one was that living creatures change on this planet over a long period of time, and the second was that they change due to natural selection. During his voyage on the Beagle, he made several discoveries. One of them was the fossil of a large sloth, which proved to Darwin that animals were different in the past. When it comes to the second understanding, another important point on his voyage was when he arrived on the Galapagos Island. He saw that the animals were different depending on the island on which they were. One of the prominent examples were the tortoises, which had different shells depending on the island on which they were. And this proved to Darwin that because of the different environments, the animals were different. Basically, that the environment chooses the offsprings which will survive.